Oh, sweet nothings. Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Today, we're taking a look at the Hasbro Star Wars Black Series 40th Anniversary Empire Strikes Back Luke Skywalker and Yoda. I was this close. Yoda in Jedi training. You may notice the schedule slightly off this week. That's okay. Monday was... but on top of technical difficulties and some choring to do, the mailman decided to just hold on to my mail that day. He left a slip, said, come get it tomorrow. So this showed up along with this, and I was torn. Oh, do I review my beloved Star Wars or my new passion of G.I. Joe? So I left it up to the Fwoosh Plus patrons, and they wanted to see Luke first. Mostly because I said I have more G.I. Joe coming next week, so it's just a Joe kind of week. Looking at the package, this is probably one of the last times, well, is there another wave coming with this design work? Soon they'll be moving to that new package style, so bask in the glory of the blackness and the red in the picture down here. On the side, the red, the D4. On the back, a bigger look at that picture, a little rundown of Luke and Yoda interacting. The warnings in so many languages, don't put it in your mouth. On the other side, I think I'll miss you the most, big font. So much fun, so much joy. Luke Sky. On the top, I'll miss you too, just black field. On the bottom, legalese, barcode, but the big thing is the figures inside. Let's take a look at that. Yeah. No. Oh, what do we have here? Did I win the golden ticket? Nope, just more warnings. Oh no. Did the gun shoot out? Where'd it go? Ooh, found it. Ooh, and getting them out of the package after going, oh, yay, another Luke and another Yoda. Damn it. I'm a sucker for upgrades, I guess. Let's take a look at, a look at Luke. Because yes, we have Bespin Luke, but this is all new sculpt. And it's really technically a different version of Luke, right? I mean, he took the coat off. And Hasbro did a good job of conveying that look. There's a fluidity here, and not just the sculpt either. When we get to the articulation, it's better than you think. Even after going, oh no, single knees and elbows. There's a texture to the sleeveless shirt up here, showing off the guns. Very nice detail, wrinkles up here at the top. It just feels natural, it feels realistic. Same thing with the pants, wrinkles, and it's accurate to the movie. Have the pouches sculpted on the front. Again, just the wrinkles and the way the light hits it. Oh man. We have those familiar boots with the straps coming around them. The peeled back look down around the foot. And again, I don't know. I keep saying realistic, but they just knocked what is basically a simple sculpt. It's out of the park. There's a lot more work here than this outfit probably deserves. And that's all a nice contrast to the smoothness of the arms. I feel like they're almost plasticky. They stick out a bit. But I love the musculature. It's strong but subtle, you know? And even the hands have some character to them. I mean, yes, they're just plain old grip hands, and we've seen these 1,000 times before, but it fits the overall body. I don't know. There's just something about it. And then because Luke was running around in a swamp doing all kinds of crazy stuff, learning the Force and picking stuff up and doing handstands and running, it has all the appropriate mud and smudges and dirtiness, and yeah. It looks random. It looks natural. It carries on to the back. It's not as dirty back here, but they tried. A little clean around the pants, dirtier on the front. I also like that it's darker smudges up here, but it's lighter down around the legs. Like this is foliage slapping against him as he's running, and this is more, you know, mud slinging up and hitting him. I don't know. It's just another one of those things that I dig about the figure. Go on by, helicopter. And then up at the head, this is where I'm torn, because Mark Hamill is one of those faces that toy companies struggle to capture in plastic form. Even Hot Toys has trouble sometimes. And while I think this is pretty close, and I always love the photo real, what throws it off this time, as much as I love this hair sculpt, I think the problem here is that it's riding high on the head. It's sitting up. It's making the top of his skull seem way too high. I think the hair is supposed to be down over his eyebrows, and the hair is supposed to be further down on the side of his face. It's supposed to frame the face lower, which is a shame because, ooh, that's a lot of glue in there. It's not an easy just peel it off and do some fixing and glue it back on. That's going to take some work. And comparing it to Bespin Luke, there's a huge difference in size here. It's almost like they fixed Mark Hamill's proportions, and I like this size. And what that comes down to is giving Hasbro another excuse to go back and redo all the Lukes in this new head size. But then there's Yoda, and the first thing that caught my eye when I pulled this out of the package is how much it looks like an actual puppet, especially in the package. Now that I've had it out and messed with it a bit and fluffed up the coat and looks a little more natural. It's not as puppet-like, but that's one of the first things I thought. And it's a shame that the whole thing is covered in this cloth robe. As good a job as they did at this scale, I mean, this is a small robe, but it's covering up a whole lot of sculpt. You can see the sleeves, little wrinkles, realistic. Same thing underneath, and this really calls back to the vintage figure. It had the brown pajama look to it, and this is exactly what is under the robes here. Single knee, no! And I'd take the robe off and show everything that's under it, but this belt doesn't seem to be cut anywhere. I thought it'd just pop loose and I could take it off and then put it all back on, but as is, if I take this robe off, I'd have to stuff it back under this belt and try to get it back in position. And, that seems like a lot of work. But you can see the same thing underneath here. It has that old school brown underrobe look. This necklace is a separate piece. It's made out of a rubbery material, but it likes to get up under the neck a bit. Because Yoda's head is on a ball joint and it gets a lot of motion, but if you go too far, it gaps up. And sometimes this jumps up under there and you close it back on, it gets stuck. And then it gets in the way of articulation, and then you're fighting this, and then you're fighting the robe, and it can be slightly frustrating. I'm tempted to put a dab of glue right there just to hold the necklace in place. See, it's already screwballed off to the side. Another thing with a robe this scale, they couldn't really put seams in it, and it's fraying a lot. I'm getting a lot of these hanging around it. Well, there's one right there, just dropping off and hitting the booth. A little trim work. I feel like they fixed the proportions here with the body because the previous Yoda was just big. And at first when we got it, yeah, okay, he's still shorter than everybody else, right? But as it went on, it looked more like a little actor inside the costume. This, like I keep saying, this is more puppet-like. I also think this is a new sculpt, which is hard to... This is the first one. Let me grab the photo real. No, I don't think it's the same sculpt. I think they've refined it just a bit. The colors do seem a little dark, but meh. I think that was just a lighting thing in the movie. Going over articulation on Luke, there is a dumbbell joint at the top of the neck, and then there is a ball joint at the bottom. And I love this setup because... Look, you can look up, can look down, but this is where it counts. So much tilt. And then, of course, swivel. There is a butterfly joint at the shoulder, but it's not a huge amount of movement, just back and forward. Hinge at the shoulder comes up, rotates all the way around. Single hinge at the elbow, but notice how far it's cut down. For a single hinge, that is not bad at all. Once you get bending, it looks really cut out, and I don't know if that's more aesthetically pleasing than a double elbow, but if it gives me the range, then I'm okay. And then there's a swivel. Up and down hinge on a trigger finger blasting hand. That swivels. Ball joint mid-torso. Not a huge amount of movement, especially forward. Not much crunch, but it hula hoops. On the hips, because of the bagginess, I guess, and these pockets on the front, they had to leave this a bit open. And it's definitely noticeable compared to how almost seamless they've gotten the knees and the elbows and everything else. But that also leaves it open to raise the leg all the way, back, and out. I mean... At this point, it's just a joke, but it's better in Spider-Man. The swivel at the thigh is hidden a bit by the flap of the pocket. And then the knees, the big debate we've been having for the past year or so. Has it been longer? It's a single knee. They have the top of the leg coming down in front of it. In neutral position, that looks fantastic. But then on the back, deep cut all the way around, which is helped because of the bagginess. And when you bend it, it does go past 90. And then from the front, this isn't sticking out like some we've seen, like a knee spike or whatever. Would I love for him to kick his own ass? Yeah, but at the same time, is it necessary? Yes, sometimes it is, but not a lot of the time. I don't know. It's a trade-off. I would love double knees, but I also love the look of this when he's standing on the shelf. I'm not quite sure if that needs a swivel right there with the top of the leg also swiveling, because I've seen pictures where this gets out of joint and then this gets out of whack, and that looks weird. It's broke! Hinge at the ankle goes back, goes forward, boop, that much. I wish there was more there because you get into action stances and he needs a little forward, or at least more forward. The elbow is cut that far down. The ankle could be cut further up on the boot right here. And then, of course, there's forward-facing pin for rocker. For Yoda, I'm going to attempt this without a bunch of thumbs in front of him, but there is a ball joint at the neck. A little bit of up and not bad down, but more tilt than I expected, so that's awesome. Then, of course, swivel. There is a hinge at the shoulder that comes up. That rotates around until about right there when the cloth starts pulling. There is a single elbow, and with the cloth goods down around it, it's hard to tell which way it bends, but It goes this way. It goes up to about 90. I'm not sure if there's a ball joint at the wrist, but it does swivel. What are we working with at the waist? Is that just a swivel? It definitely rotates, but I'm not feeling anything else. I said I wasn't going to take the jacket off, and I've nearly gotten the coat off. There is a ball coming out to the hips, goes forward, goes back. Not half bad. Single knee goes back. Oh shit, he's kicking his own ass. And then that swivels at the knee. Wait, no. There's a hinge. There's actually a hinge at the ankle down there. You can get back, you can get forward. Not a lot of motion there. A forward-facing pin for rocker. Got the jacket back on right, and again, there's that puppet look. Put him on the hook. We're ready for Yoda, sir. Here we go. For accessories, Luke has a trigger finger hand, and he has a left gripping hand, but then he also swaps to a right force-using hand and a left flat palm for handstanding. And those are easy enough to swap. You just pull it out. I said pull out, and then that just pops in. I wish with this, he had an alternate head with the eyes closed or something. But then for the left, with the flat palm, if you are going to attempt to put him in a handstand pose, I suggest not articulating this just yet. Once you do that, it loosens up the detent slightly, and you're not going to get as good a base. Okay, just to prove it can be done, the elbows are not cooperative at all, but once you get everything balanced, it's been there for a minute. I tried a few times with Yoda up on the foot. To hell with that. Other accessories include the same old lightsaber we've seen many a time. And the same goes for the blaster, because we've gotten Bespin Luke, 2-3 times now. But going all the way back to how natural the hands feel, it is a good tight grip right there. You rotate, you shove, and then rotate back. And that is just a beautiful grip on the blaster. And the same thing goes for the lightsaber. Even with the trigger finger, I've been putting that up around this button right there. It just looks good. And because of the range of the elbows, the slight movement in the forward and back butterfly shoulders, he can grip a lightsaber like nobody's business. It has a nice natural feel to it. I mean, you start moving around and it just falls into poses. It's fun. Well, I was going for a badass saber pose, but he may be playing the flute too. I don't know. For Yoda's accessories, he comes with a cane. And it's what you expect. It's a stick that comes up into a curve. But the nice thing about having all this articulation on Yoda and him actually having a tight grip on the cane, you would think, oh, that's just gonna fall out, but no, that is a good grip. And he has no problem whatsoever getting into that two-handed cane pose. Even if you want to give him the hunchback looks just slightly, and him leaning, it is not a problem whatsoever. At first I thought there's no way this Yoda is gonna get into a natural Yoda stance, but I'll be damned if he didn't. And then besides the awesome looking head that the figure comes with in the package, there is also this closed eyes Yoda head. He's either using the Force, which that's what it is, or he's taking a nap, or he's just sick of Luke's antics. I don't know. And the head is easy enough to pop off. Be careful with that though, because the necklace does come loose when you pop off the head, and that's possible carpet monster dinner, you know? The other head just pops right on. Like I said, he's using the Force here, but I wish he came with an alternate hand that was a little splayed out, like he was actually using it. There, he's just reaching for pots and pans or something. But again, a damn good look. It nails the likeness from the movie, and the subtle dry brushing brings out the detail. I can't decide which one I like better. And look, through all this popping and swapping and changing, he's still holding on to his cane. So that's another one of those things that you don't have to worry about falling down into the Sarlacc pit that I call the floor. But then there is one last accessory that Luke and Yoda get to share, and that is the iconic light blue backpack pouch. I like how this side dips down a little just to change it up a bit. You see the sculpted straps around. He has, it goes around Luke, the buckle up front. It does have a little paint. It looks plain on the rest of it though. Maybe needs some dirtiness, some shading or something. It's a soft material, so you're not gonna break anything, but to put it on Luke, you pop this peg. First you put Luke into the Breakfast Club pose, and then you can just slip this down over him. Bring this around back, and here comes the tough part. This is supposed to plug back into that hole, but it's a bit tough to get a flat spot and a grip on it. You just gotta keep shoving until it gets into position. But the cool thing about that is that it doesn't stick up awkwardly anywhere. It seems to lay and sit naturally on his shoulders and around his body. Put Yoda's arms up, and you kind of bunch the robe around him, maybe stick that right there. He fits right down inside. At first I thought, oh, those feet are too big, you're gonna have to fight it to get it down, but it goes right in. Even get him into his creepy whispering into the ear pose. Lavender? Is that? It obviously makes Luke a bit back heavy, but I haven't had a lot of trouble actually standing him up. Height-wise, Luke stands at about 5 5/8, maybe 5 11/16, which is damn close to Mark Hamill's 5'9" height. And then Yoda stands at 2 3/8, which may be slightly taller than his, 26 inches? Barely bigger, but way better scale than the old Yoda. Here's Luke with other Empire Strikes Back Black Series figures. And like I said, they shrunk his head a bit, which puts him slightly out of proportion with the rest of them. But he definitely looks more natural here, especially compared to this clunky body. Actually, what are we working with here? Oh, well, that's not bad. This actually looks like this figure in a flight suit, so I'm good with that. I wonder what this figure would look like with this head. Here it is with the Black Series Land Speeder Luke, which is, that's terrible. And then the Walmart exclusive Return of the Jedi Luke. And this wasn't that long ago, but here's the slightly larger head than this. I'm again preferring this look. And then here it is with the Bandai SH Figuarts A New Hope Luke and Return of the Jedi Luke with a custom casting cave head. Little shorter, little scrawnier, but I don't know. I like the look of these three better than the other three. And then for Yoda, here it is with the first Black Series Yoda, and then the more recent Archive Edition with the photo real face. Didn't we just get that at the end of last year sometime? And I'm replacing it again. But this is just better scale, and his arms look long because the sleeves keep slipping down. The actual arm length is long, so he can hold the cane nicely, but it just looks odd in neutral position. In fact, let's put the cane in because we're about to compare that. Because here it is with the Kotobukiya 1/10 scale Yoda that is actually better scale than the first Black Series Yodas, and here's the Bandai Model Kit Yoda. Both of these are essentially statues, but I've always felt that they were better scale and better look. I don't know, I think this one takes it now, especially since it has articulation. So at the end of the day, not a perfect set, but oh man, they are fun and really well done. It's kind of a hard pill to swallow at $44 though. I do admit there is a lot of sculpting here, but it's basically one figure and an accessory figure with some articulation to it, and then some accessories on top of that. And while Luke's likeness isn't the best, which we're used to at this point with Luke, and the hair does ride high, which I may play with later, I feel like this is one of my favorite Lukes in the Black Series now. It almost poses itself. And yes, we grop about the single elbows, I grop a lot about the single knees, but I don't know. I get it in hand and it's not as bad as I thought it'd be. The knees are very pretty in neutral stance, and when they're bent, you can see the articulation, and it's weird only because we've been looking at double knees for how many years now? Many years. So yeah, we can call out Hasbro for, enacting their evil plan of getting us used to single knees, but I'm having less and less of a problem with it. And then with Yoda, like I said, I've been using statues up to this point because the Black Series Yodas weren't that great, but now they nailed the size. He has ample articulation, maybe not everything we want in an action figure, but ample for a Yoda figure. And most of all, it looks awesome in a neutral stance or any pose you want to put it into. So yeah, a very nice set. Again, the price point, and that's not comfortable. They call it a deluxe set, and I have a feeling that if we're getting more deluxes in the future, that it may follow this same trail. But if you don't mind using the statue Yoda, you can wait for the Empire Strikes Back 40th Anniversary Wave 3. This Luke is going to be single carded. So if you don't want to pay the $44, pass on by, wait for that release. I don't know, it's fun. What can I say? So if you enjoyed the review, comment, like, subscribe. Much love to the plus. If you're interested in seeing videos early or just in a position to help out the channel, patreon.com. But wherever you may be watching this, I'll catch you on the Fwoosh. I kind of want all my figures with this same, well, I need more crunch and I need more ankle. But besides that, Luke is a posing machine.